I don't have my microphone. Y'all can hear me, I'm assuming, but you're hearing me through the wrong microphone. So let me switch this over to the proper microphone. I probably sound exactly the same. Hold on. I've been recording stuff and I had my microphone connected to the other computer. And I don't even know how the other computer translates anything that's going on here. So, y'all can hear me now. If you couldn't hear me before, sorry. And also, I had a Windows update yesterday on the computer that I streamed through. Oh yeah. I was trying to access all of that stuff. Like, no, anyways. I had just a regular Windows update yesterday on my streaming computer, and that meant that like it was completely shut down, and it's older, so it's one of those computers that takes a while to boot up. And of course, I come running in here at 10 a.m. because I had to make some coffee before I got this going. Anyways, I'm gonna be writing today. I'm doing this because I started to do some writing again, and then I decided to make a video, and that video took me 4 days to do. I decided to convert some books, get them formatted for paperback in a program I had never used before, and that took me 2 days. And then I had another, I think, 3 days of making that video, and so I've just lost a ton of writing time. So I'm writing today. I'm also going to be writing tonight. Tonight is my and Sandy's usual evening show. So Keenan, I'm in Atlanta where it is 10 a.m. and a reasonable time to do a show if you don't sleep until 9:30 in the morning, like I tend to, because I don't have any sort of schedule in my life anymore. Anyways, good morning, Spence. Let's get this first sprint going. Now that everything seems to be settled, and then we'll chit chat a bit more when we're done with this 10. I'll see you guys in 10. Okay, that was time on the first sprint. I am definitely not. There we go. That is more like center. Yeah, I didn't get anything done. I did get stuff done. I didn't get writing done, but like I had other stuff I had to do. Most of it was writing related. I just changed my story slightly. I added a little bit to my story. I realized that I needed I had already realized that I needed just a little bit more action in the story, and then I just decided I've already like worked on that extra bit of action. And now I'm like, I can put even more action in here. So I just had to like, it's not anything that changes what's already been written, thankfully. Although I did also, I don't know if anybody else does this. I'm sure most other writers do this. But do you ever leave like red herrings for yourself where you like throw something in that seems important, but actually you have no idea where it's going to go? I'm speaking specifically to plotters, of course, because that's what pantsing is. But like, I am a plotter, and sometimes I threw this element in where there's something wrong with my character's eyes, and I just like magically came up with what is going on there, and it's going to end up being a critical plot point. It in no way changes my story. There's just going to be a moment of realization, and it's going to cement another plot point in better, and also make one of my characters cooler for it. So I was just getting that kind of structurally thrown in to get all of that going. Oh, I am being rated over on, wow, I'm being rated with cat facts over on Twitch. So I will post those on the screen in just a moment for everybody who is on YouTube so you can see what I'm seeing. McKinnon, Spence joined us right after that sprint was going. And then Keenan said, my sleep schedule is messed up because it's summer. I've been going to bed at 10:30 to midnight, waking up at like 7 or 9. Yeah, I used to be an early riser because I used to go to work at 6 o'clock in the morning, and that all when I quit that job. Hello, pronoun. Rose, kids are getting up at 6 a.m. but don't go to camp until 9. So morning writing is filled with chaos. That doesn't sound good. No. Shirley joined us over on Twitch, and Golden Hand joined us on Twitch. Shirley is working on a blog, and Golden Hand is still working on the logo. Last week was an ADHD trash fire. I mentioned it at the very beginning of the show, but like I had all these writing plans this week, and then I formatted 2 novels in a program that I've never used before, and then made a video, and that took me 3 days to make that video. So right there with you. So cat facts. Cats have an extra organ that allows them to taste scents on the air, which is why your cat blems. It's the stares at you with their mouth open from time to time. Cats have contributed to the extinction of 33 species. Love it. And, oh God, I jumped. Cats' claws all curve downward, which means that they can't climb down trees head first. Instead, they have to back down the trunk, or like all of my cats have ever done, they just jump right out. Cats have whiskers on the back of their front legs as well. I'm going to have to see that when mine gets up. Cats absolutely dream. I stare at my cat while he's sleeping for exactly that reason, like a lunatic, right? Cats purring may be self-soothing, says they make the sound when they're ill or distressed, as well as when they're happy. And then is this all part of the same raid? Yes, it is. Okay. Kittens can be spayed and neutered when they are only 8 weeks old. If possible, these procedures should be performed in the first 5 months of your cat's life. Absolutely true. Also, because they could start reproducing by that time. Or by, I think it's 6 months that they can start. So like, yeah, like you can, like people constantly, I'm sorry, I also know cats. You're hitting me just right with this. But a lot of times people wait to spay or neuter their cats, particularly spaying, and then it's too late. They already have kittens. Also, like if you tell your vet to, it depends on the vet. They'll all do this, but like sometimes it's a conversation you have to have with them, and sometimes they just kind of do it on their own or whatever. But sometimes when they spay cats, they just kind of, it's basically a hysterectomy, and they just like turn a blind eye to like anything that might be going on in there. So like that's a thing. Like kitten abortion is a thing, which a lot of people don't know about. And it's a weird, like we used to take in strays all the time. So like this was absolutely a normal thing in my house. So it wasn't something that I thought was weird until I mentioned it to a friend as an adult. And she was like, that is the most horrible thing ever. Like, no, like kittens, it's hard to find homes for kittens. So it's kind of the kindest thing you can do sometimes because you're creating less strays. Yes, you absolutely picked the right person to cat factory. Let's do our next sprint though. We're gonna do 20 this time, and I'm actually going to write this time. So I want y'all to all be productive as well. And oh god, there we go. And I will see you guys. Let's see. It is 23 past the hour here. I'll see you guys at 43 past the hour. And we'll see what everybody is working on and if everybody got some work done or, if we just dicked around on the internet. See you guys in 20. Okay, that is time on that sprint. Let me know how y'all did. I ended up outlining a scene. So I didn't get that much actual writing done. I did get a little bit of writing. I got like three paragraphs written. But so the reason I spent all that time outlining that scene is because I then jumped to write this scene, which I did not outline because it's part of this like new extra content that I hadn't originally included in my outline. And I have no idea what I am doing with it because I have gotten so spoiled by having outlines that I am no longer even remotely capable of pantsing anything. I mean, like, so I do write those flash fiction shorts, and those I absolutely pants. Which at 2,000 words, less than 2,000 words, it's incredible how off track they go without an outline. But it's okay where they're going. It doesn't matter how solid the stories are. Anyway, but yeah, I got that scene outlined, and I took some notes on that new that red herring that I fixed, or that I figured out. I definitely put the red herring in there with the intention of it going somewhere. So I put in some notes for that, and then I wrote these 3 paragraphs. And oh gosh, clicking all over the place. So Julie got 458 on a blog project. Awesome. And Golden Hand looked up tenets of graphic design. Do you just not have any idea where you're going with your logo, or is it something where like the layout is not getting structured properly? I'm just curious. I probably cannot help in any way because I'm not good at verbalizing things like this. But I recently did, Spence. I recently did alpha reading for Spence. And like everything I said to her was like, I don't know if this sounds even a little bit right because I'm not used to like thinking about the creative process in actual words, if that makes sense. So like when I try to explain things, I feel like I'm never explaining them right because I'm not using the right words to say them. Also, I just saw that Spence had some feedback on the cat thing. Her sister has a terribly inbred stray cat. She adopted had to have that happen because she was like 3 months old and had been in heat like 5 times. Yes, that is the casually pretending that the cat wasn't pregnant when you fix them. I'm sure that just like with people, there is a point where that doesn't happen. But if they're earlier in their little kitty pregnancy, that yeah. Also, those kittens probably would have been more inbred. And we had to do that with one that we had a cat that had that was deaf and had cataracts on her eyes. And we were fairly sure, even with those, that she had some mental impairment because we've had a deaf cat before that. We got into this, not rut, pattern, I don't know what the right word is, but like we used to always take in white cats. And white cats tend to have medical issues. So like we've had deaf cats, we've had blind cats, we've had cats with epilepsy. It's this genetic thing that if they are solid white and they have blue eyes, they most likely have these weird genetic issues. And she was one of those cats. She was white with blue eyes. And yeah, she was deaf, and there was just like something really wrong with her beyond that. So first my mother decided that because she was deaf, she couldn't get pregnant. My mom's an idiot. I was a child. This happened when I was in 7th grade, so don't blame me in any way. But she decided, and we always had outside cats because of where we lived. I live in Atlanta now, so my cats are indoors. But so mom just let this cat out, never got her fixed. I can't possibly understand this now, except again, my mother's an idiot. Of course the cat got pregnant. We kept that litter, and then I guess mom also thought that there was like a cool down period after cats have kittens like humans. It takes a long time for our systems to get back up and running. It doesn't take nearly as long, of course, for cats. And so by the time she took the cat to get fixed, the damn cat was pregnant again. And that was one where we're like, we're not dealing with this again. Yeah. And yes, all of her babies were white with blue or blue-green. One had all green eyes. And 2 out of 4 of them had some sort of I guess, disability. But I mean, they're cats. They're fine. Sorry, I scared you, Allie. And oh, Spitz is worried that the kittens probably would have been more inbred, and Lord knows what would have happened then. And Helene just came back from school and is going to get some writing done. Yay, we are about to start another sprint. Now that I'm done with that weird cat story. But Golden Hand says, mostly looking up what cool effects to use on the logo. Apparently, a gradient effect is a no-no. But I'm not going everywhere. So yeah, it all depends on what you're using it for. I personally have my logo, which is that pineapple. I have it in a bunch of different formats so that depending on what the restrictions are, I match them. So like when it's going on the spine, that is actually a vector graphic because it converts more cleanly for when you're having to adjust it for print. The lines are more clean, but so that's something, I guess, is where I'm going with it, is that if you do want a gradient effect, you can just also make a model that does not have a gradient effect. You can have I have probably 6 different graphics, including like some are transparent, some are not, obviously the different styles. And then there's like my watercolor version that is, I believe, the logo on my YouTube stream. Let me see. Oh, wrong button. Yes, that is my watercolor one. That's actually the original that everything is based off of. But of course, this doesn't work for a logo and a lot of different things. Yeah. So anyways, talking pineapple. Let's get this next sprint going, though. We're going to do 20 again. It is 10:51 here in Atlanta, so that is going to take us to 11:11. Woo. We will have 3 more sprints total. This one plus 2 more. We'll be getting done just past noon on Eastern time, it looks like. But definitely by 15 past the hour. But let's go ahead and get this 20 in, and then we'll do a couple more after that. I'll see you guys at 11:12 now. Okay, that was time on that sprint. Oh God. Oh, putting my hands up made me go blurry. I'm so sorry. I got excited. There we go. I got excited about Time's Up and ruined everything. I'm not excited about my word count there. I was sitting at I think I was at 662 when I started that sprint. So my goal was literally just to get 1,000, which is 3 and change, not a whole lot for me. And I hit 982. The good news is I am almost done with this scene that was not, this scene that was not outlined. And hopefully, the next scene being outlined, I won't have this problem. Lady writes, I love this little heart. I haven't seen that before. It's probably been floating around for years and I just don't use Twitch, so I never get to see these things. But that heart is delightful and I love it. It's so pretty. And Shirley finished the blog post. Awesome. And working on art for it, which is way fancier than any blog post I ever did because I don't deal with art. It's part of why. So I do have a couple of video tutorials on YouTube for how to do some random things that as a writer I had to figure out, as a self-published writer, that I had to kind of figure out how to do on my own. But I couldn't find tutorials for how to do them. And so I've made a couple of tutorials for these things since I had to figure out on my own. Hopefully I can help other people from doing that themselves. But I've never actually written a blog post on how to do any of that stuff because I refuse to even put the effort into screenshots. I will just post a video feed and that is it. I don't know. But awesome. And let's see. Scrivener does a fine print-ready PDF, but this graphic designer guy is making me think that a desktop publishing program might be another string to my bow. Unfortunately, he's obsessed with InDesign, and I'm broke as fuck. Golden Hand, okay, so this is funny because what I was just talking about with tutorials, I literally just put up a tutorial on how to make paperback novels, how to format them in Word, which is absolutely not the program I recommend to do it in. The major problem with Word, other than it is glitchy AF, the other problem with Word is there's not enough fine-tuning control to really be able to have both widow orphan control and also have lines match up at the bottom of the page. So that is the one big downfall with Word. This is a book that I published with Word. Let me see if I can actually find an example. So the pages look pretty, it looks like a good paperback novel right there. But if you look at those bottom lines, you see that they don't match up because I had a widow orphan issue happen on these. So that is the problem with using Word to do PDFs. But the reason I say all of this is not to tell you to do it with Word. You can, but, and again, I just put up a tutorial for it, but I recently switched to Affinity Publisher. It is, I think, usually $50. I got it during a sale where I think I paid $30 for it. And it is, we've got Prime Day coming up. It's not on Amazon, but usually other places have sales around the same time as Prime Day. So with Affinity, my writing partner, Sandy, who occasionally does shows with me, she just switched from InDesign to Affinity, and she loves it. And the only feature that so far she has found missing with Affinity is it doesn't have really good footnote or endnote options, which if you're not, I mean, if you're writing novels, then you're probably not using footnotes anyways. And like, you can do it, you just have to do it manually. So if if your graphics designer guy is pushing you to do InDesign, my counter to that is do Affinity. Again, Sandy has also had, from as far as I can tell from our conversations, she's also had really no issues shifting from InDesign to Affinity. And that $50 is not monthly. That's just how much the program costs. It is the same as InDesign right now, where it does not have the full ebook capabilities that Vellum does. But I've heard that they're also working toward that. So alternative that I don't have InDesign background. I was going from using Word to Affinity. So Sandy had to talk me through quite a few things because it was definitely, there was a learning curve. And this is another thing that I couldn't find any tutorials out there. So once I get a hang of what's going on, I'll be putting out my own tutorial. But that's an alternative that if you can get it on sale, it's a very reasonable price. Okay. So, and yes, LibreOffice does, I believe it's about the same as Word for making PDFs. So that is also an option if you don't already have Word. Okay, let's go ahead and do our next sprint. It is 11:19 here in Atlanta, so this is going to take us to 11:39. And we'll get these last two sprints in. So this one and then one more. I will see you guys at 11:39. Okay, that was time on that sprint. I got, you know what? I got about 300 words written, which I was pretty active in chat during that sprint. So I'm not gonna be mad at myself for getting 300 words. I did get over 1,000 finally. Obviously I was at like 981, I think it was, but, yeah, I'm chugging along with this, and I think I will definitely finish this scene on the next sprint. So I'm good with that. Those of you on YouTube, I just shared a link from Shirley, who's over on Twitch. So you guys can see the blog post that she just posted. And I had a bit of a conversation on Twitch as well about widow orphan control. I just found out, I didn't know. So I've mentioned this before, but I do not use Scrivener for formatting. I used to draft in Scrivener. I'm now using Wavemaker for that, but I never got a hold of all of the extra features of Scrivener, like formatting for ebooks and stuff like that. But I didn't know that they didn't have a drop cap option before. So I've just learned that. But I think I did mention this already. Yes, absolutely. I mentioned it already. That one of the big problems with trying to format in Word is that you have to either have widows and orphans, or you have to give up having the even bottom lines. And something that Golden Hand just said is that they have a problem with just having a lot of orphans and widows. And I feel like this is a problem that a lot of people have now, because we just write differently than we used to. So I feel like it's not just because I also have a huge problem with it. And widows and orphans occur mostly because you have paragraphs that are very short. Mostly, like, the biggest contributor to widows and orphans is these paragraphs that are 2 to 3 lines long that literally cannot be split up. And if like most of what you write is in that length, then this is going to happen a lot. So we're a lot more dialogue heavy than we used to be. And especially because as much as we don't deliberately do it, I feel like most of us write to be more optimized to e-readers now, and it's easier on an e-reader to read shorter paragraphs. It is also to an extent in novels, but I feel like that's something we focus on more, whether we're actively thinking about it or subconsciously doing it. It's just something that I feel like a lot more modern writers do than what used to be done. I feel like we used to, even like 20 years ago, we saw much bigger blocks of text, and we're just kind of going away from that, as it's also, as readers ourselves, it becomes more natural or easier for us to read those shorter paragraphs. So that is one of the big problems with Word, and it is why it's so nice to have programs like InDesign and Affinity, and I'm sure Vellum. I've obviously never used Vellum before because I don't use Apple products, but I'm sure Vellum has a good widow orphan control system as well, where it helps with that. The thing with a Word is that they don't give you a lot of control with your, is it the leading? No, it's the tracking. You don't get a lot of control with the space between your letters. It's a lot harder to fine tune it there. And that's generally what you have to do to get your lines to match up when you're also dealing with widows and orphans. So, yeah, that is honestly though, and Microsoft Word is possessed by the devil. That is the other issue. It is a lot squirrelier with flowable text. It's a lot harder to get it's not like, once you get it going, it's fine, but it glitches really badly. And actually in the video that I posted, and I did link on both Twitch and YouTube, I do go into a couple of those issues, but a lot of times it doesn't understand where your margins are supposed to be, and there's no way to really control it. And also, where your margins are, you have like your inside and outside margins are inside margins, outside margins. They're going to be different numbers, and a lot of times Word gets confused about which side is which. And also your headers and footers can go terribly awry. And there's some formatting that you can pick up from the different programs that we use that we tend to write in, and then we export to Word to actually fine tune everything. There's a lot of like hidden formatting that you don't see that can cause massive problems. And Word does not nuke formatting like other things like Affinity and InDesign do. If you take something done if you put something into Affinity and InDesign and you want to completely nuke all of the formatting in it, it will do it. Word doesn't. And so you can also put it in Notepad actually, but if you put it in Notepad, same issue as Affinity and InDesign, you lose italics and stuff like that. There's a workaround in Affinity and InDesign, but there's not in Notepad. So anyway, just a weird little ramble. Let's do our last sprint. Sorry, I went off on a weird little ramble there. This has consumed my life for the last 3 days because that video took me so much longer than I wanted it to. Apparently you can't wrap text around images as Scrivener either. That's also irritating. Yeah, people talk about how great Scrivener is for formatting, but it sounds like if you have any like particulars on how you want things to be formatted, it's really just not going to get the job done. It'll get you something solid if you don't care how it decides to do it. Okay, let's do this last sprint. It is 11:46 now, so we're going to end at just past noon, 12:06 here in Atlanta. This will be our last sprint, and then we can move on. But let's get this one done, and I'm going to absolutely get this scene finished, so I feel like I accomplished something this morning. was the final sprint. I almost finished the scene. I did chat again, but I probably have like 2 minutes. I've got 2 paragraphs left to write here, and it's he lets me go, I spit on him, he slaps me, end of scene. She is a captive. As I said that, I was like, oh my God, this sounds terrible what I'm writing. She has been captured, and she needs to rile her friend up to get him to rescue her. He is in another cave, and she knows that if she riles up the captor enough for him to physically hit her, then it's going to be enough to get her friend to go berserk because he's an alien, and they do that. Yeah. But I am happy with what I got done today. I wrote almost 1,000 words. I, of course, like to get over that mark, but I'm about there. I'm almost done. Upcoming shows for me, I actually have another show this evening at 8 p.m. Eastern. This is going to be the Me and Sandy show. 4 morning shows. I have no idea. Again, this is my random time where I've been really inconsistent about getting up in the morning. I love my box of fake Cheez-Its that is just like clearly visible next to that space heater when I do this. Anyway, so that is the end of this show. I'll be back tomorrow evening. If you don't already subscribe to me on whichever system service, there we go, you're watching me from, subscribe, because I do these pop-ups a couple days a week at this time. I just don't have an actual schedule for it. And if you are on Twitch, I believe my friend Kat is currently doing streams as well. So I am going to send y'all over to Kat for more sprints. She is going, I think, for another 4 hours today. So plenty of stuff there. Yes, she is currently sprinting. So I'm going to drop you guys into that sprint, and then I'm going to go get some lunch. So let's start this raid, and hopefully I get this all going right, because I am all thumbs with these things. I usually forget to do them. So thank you guys for watching, and I will see you later. Ooh, there we go. Now we're raiding. Go on. Bye. Go off with you.